Hey guys, James Wilson-Taylor here for Rock Sound. Happy New Year and welcome to another episode of our Rundown podcast. It's 2026, lots of incredibly exciting new music on the way, some huge festivals, huge tours, maybe a few surprises we can kind of predict as well. So here to analyze it all with me are two of our writing staff, Jack Rogers and Maddie Howell. Guys, good to see you. Happy New Year. We're going to dive right into this, all right? So Maddie, I'm going to come to you first. Let's
Nice.
start with new albums, okay? There's a lot of stuff that's rumored. We're going to come on to that. But in terms of the things that we know are definitely on the way, give me something that you're super excited about to listen to in 2026.
So one of them is a bit of a pop out. Cavetown's album comes out next week.
Yes.
And obviously I wrote the album story on the website for it. So I have heard
Good
it.
plug. Good
Spoiler
plug.
alert.
Straight away. There she is. Always
But
working. I love it.
it's so good. It's so good. So I'm very excited. Obviously, I've heard it, but I'm very excited for the world to hear it because it's unreal. It's the best thing I've ever done. So very excited for that. But apart from that, Joyce Manor.
Mm.
Like I used to go to this bar, comes out at the end of the month. Like it is impossible for me to hear a single, like well, whatever it was, and just not be immediately stoked for a record.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of song that just
Yeah.
immediately like grabs me. I'm like, yeah, that is incredible. And like, have you seen the music video for that?
Oh yeah. Very cool. Very
So
cool.
fun. Like I'm
Yeah.
so glad that they're really kind of leaning into the silly music video thing because a lot of bands have stopped doing that now. Like we kind of got into the age where music videos don't matter, quote unquote.
Mm.
And I think they do matter. And it's just a lot of fun. And doing like a Great British Bake Off themed music video is just iconic. Like I'm so happy that they're doing stuff like that.
Nice to see them really getting their flowers in this era as well.
Oh
Like, I mean,
yeah.
obviously, they've been like everyone's favorite cult band for a long time, and it's just really cool to see how hyped people are for this new Joyce Manor record, myself included. I think it's great, and I'm really excited for it to be out there as well. I fully agree. And yeah, the Cavetown record as well. What was nice was seeing Robin out there on that Pierce the Veil tour, kind of towards the end of
Oh,
last year, dominating these arenas, and it's just so interesting, isn't it? We said it at the time, like obviously what he does is so radically different from what Pierce the Veil do, and yet somehow for that audience it just what there's something in the DNA there that comes from that. I don't know whether it's the honesty of the lyrics or whatever it is, but yes, seeing him team up with Vic on their duet and everything, I was like, oh, this does actually make so much sense. And yeah, really excited for that to get out there too.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
that duet on that tour was so fun.
Mm.
Like, and you could just see Robin have the time of his life. And like, it's just one of those things that Cavetown's another one of those that has been around for a long time, and has been getting his flowers in some sense, but it feels like this kind of cult thing. And
Yeah.
it's so lovely to see that becoming like this big thing that can like take on arenas, that can really kind of fill those rooms because, you know, what he does is very special. So yeah, I'm very stoked to see him doing that big stuff.
Fully agree. Jack, how about yourself, man? Give me a record you're particularly hyped for at the minute.
Well, I'm going to give both sides of my personality here.
For sure.
The new As It Is album, which has been
Yes.
announced, which there's so much that has gone into that record, and you can see how much it means to them. And it's again a band which is very much enjoying being back in the doing things the way that they want to after the story behind it is very deep. There's a lot of heartbreak in there, but there's a lot of a reminder of how important brotherhood is and your friends, and them really going back to the start of their journey, but doing it in a way which is like, well, this is all on our terms now,
Mm.
and off the back of Ruin My Life, where again they're having fun with videos as well. By chance that they'd make a Jackass themed video for Ruin My Life, and then it's almost as if there's a tin can or going all the way to
Yeah.
Brighton from Tony Knoxville. So he's like, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah,
Um,
can't make that
but
up. Can't make that one
but
up.
but like, yeah, just everything around it just feels really exciting, and it's nice seeing a band like them who are at the top, being at the top of their game again, but also not letting the pressures of the industry crush them into thinking that they have to do things differently. It feels very natural what this album's going to be.
Yeah.
But then my other one is Converge. Love Is Not Enough,
Mm.
coming out just on Valentine's Day. Strange enough, the best hardcore band of all time, the most consistent hardcore band of all time, and they just sound even more rough and raw and rallying than they've ever been. It's like, again, there's not many bands where you can say that for 30 years they have consistently upped themselves and like with age got better.
Mm.
But this feels like, again, like every time an album comes around, it's an amazing time. And
Yeah.
yeah, just that's it. So that's going to be me this year. The both sides of me. You'll
That is
see
both sides of you. Yeah,
you'll,
both sides of you are catered for this year, very much so.
you'll see me at the back of both of those shows with my arms crossed, with a little smile. Like
That's what we like to see. That's starting the year off right. I'm glad you mentioned As It Is as well, because I mean, what's been lovely about their return is that they quite genuinely were surprised by how much people cared, which is very sweet.
yeah,
And like, I think we on the other side of it could have predicted this. You know, we've seen fans desperate for them to come back and do some stuff again. But yeah, even around, you know, obviously they did the anniversary stuff last year for Never Happy Ever After, but yeah, of course, people are going to be excited for the new music, especially when they're really channeling those early days again and doing something super, super interesting, but really bringing it into 2026 space, right? It sounds modern. It's got that real sheen to it. And yeah, I'm super excited for their shows whenever they happen. And it's just gonna be really, really interesting to see how they grow and develop this year. You know, a brand new As It Is era is always an exciting time to be had, I think. Here's some other ones I want to throw in here. So Poppy album right around the corner. Obviously, I mean, she's been on such a great wave recently. It's so cool. All of those singles really, really hitting hard. Great to get that record out there. The Artio record's going to be very, very cool. Obviously, again, heard quite a few singles off it at that point. Feels like a really interesting time for them creatively. I'm really interested to see how that reaction is to that full record. And then one that's kind of just dropped. We've got to mention Black Veil Bride's back with a brand new single, Certainty.
oh
Obviously,
yes,
couple of standalone singles. You know, with Bleeders last time, it was obviously so in that particular theme, and you know, you saw they were really going down a certain route. But now they're doing these other standalone singles. Certainty is, oh man, it's really interesting to see them. It does feel like new territory for them. I don't quite know how to put my finger on it, but like visually as well, it's very kind of different, very slick feel for them. I don't know. I'm very excited for new Black Veil Bride's music. I don't know about you guys.
it's very much like you can see that a band which has been doing things again. It's consistency. It's all about. It's a band which has never gone away, but has never rested on their laurels in terms of who they are and where they've come from. Ultimately, they're still like a big heavy metal band. You know, they're influenced by classic rock. They're influenced by, you know, the greats from back then. But it's this utilizing of like, you know, the height of what metalcore is being at the moment, the height of what other bands are doing, which is allowing, you know, on this bigger stage, these heavy sounds to come in. Because again, it's this thing that, you know, Andy Biersack, he's got a voice like Caramel, but like he can fucking scream, man.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I think people forget that because he's so good on the other side of just being that songwriter as well. That so it's like it's utilizing all these parts and not being afraid to step into different things which people don't associate them with. And I think you know, a lot of that comes from, you know, a lot of tours they've had with Motionless in White and Iceland Kills. You know, they're on being on Sumerian, being surrounded by bands like Bad Omens and Poppy and all these artists which are happy to push without concern of what people think of them. And I think Black Veil Brides have always been that. Like they've never cared what people think. They care about what the fans, you know, the people at the shows and doing all of that. But yeah, there's something about this. It just feels like a massive level up off the back of you mentioned Bleeders. You know, I can't watch that video. It's a bit too
Oh yeah,
blood.
that's not good for you. Yeah, fair play.
Bit too much blood for me. but then like what they did with Hallelujah like 6 months ago into this, like it's a really good run and a really exciting run. And for us to be saying that in 2026 when like Knives and Pens came out 17 years ago, you know, like the fact we're reaching this place where bands are like, you know, like getting up to 2 decades of life, like, and not being out, it just feels so exciting, and it feels really exciting for not just those bands, but like for the scene as a whole.
Absolutely. Will Gould, I remember, described Andy as a world builder, and I always thought that's the most appropriate title. It's very, very true. And I can tell you, by the way, by the time people are seeing this, Andy is the next guest on 7 of 30 on our other podcast. So yeah, do tune in for that very soon. Going to be a lovely, lovely conversation. That I'm very much looking forward to it. So much exciting new music to come in early 2026. And right now, over at shop.rocksound.tv, you can pick up some exclusive vinyl, particularly of Artio's brand new album, Soul Rot, available on transparent green vinyl with a hand-signed poster, and the forthcoming self-titled album from the one and only As It Is, available on exclusive vinyl alongside a hand-signed photo and a world-exclusive t-shirt design. Head right now to get your pre-orders in, only at shop.rocksound.tv. So that's things we know are definitely kind of coming and in the works. I want to mention some things that are kind of rumored or not officially announced yet. Motionless in White, we've already mentioned as a band, obviously on tour here very, very soon in February over in the UK. Chris has flat out told us many times like the album's in the works and it's coming, and hopefully they're hoping to have like the kind of first taste of new music around the tour. He told us that back when we were young in October. Very excited to see what's next. I think Scoring the End of the World is undoubtedly their best record. I think it's been their crowning achievement so far. And again, given how long they've been going and the kind of breadth of material they've put together, that's no mean feat, you know, to be able to still do that at this point in their career. It's a big ask to top it. It's a big ask to do it, but again, another world builder, I would say. So, you know, that is a band that really, really takes seriously the idea of eras and really kind of distinguishing between them, which is always very nice to see. I'm fascinated to see where that goes next. And I think Chris seems really, really hungry for it and really kind of ready to take it to this next level. And what a way to kind of kick off that era if that is indeed the way they're going to do it. You know, Ali Pali over here in the UK, their biggest ever UK headline show, that's 10,000 standing. That's really, really exciting. But yeah, I feel like this year has the potential to be dominated by Motionless and White, which is a great place to be.
Well, we watched them together when we were young in last year, didn't we, James? And that was, we were watching them on, which was on one of the two smaller stages, you know, on one of the rotating ones. And we were like, it felt a privilege to see a band as locked in as that on a stage that small, which they haven't stood on in a long time. And they won't stand on for a long time, because this is a band, again, I'll say, who have just been consistent in their time and continue to get bigger and better and refine themselves, that now to this place where it's like, well, we were watching an arena band be an arena band in a small place. And
yeah,
when you realize the songs which they have and the devotion to those songs that people have, be it something off Scoring the End of the World, be it Another Life, be it Eternally Yours, like, but then also having that heaviness still in there and still pushing themselves and being, you know, unapologetically bold and brash, that, yeah, it feels like, and over here, as you say, like going from Brixton last time out up to Ali Pali, something which a lot of heavy bands are doing at the moment. You know, do I say like a band like Lorna Shore, who are the opportunity for these extreme bands to go and again, Electric Callboy were there last year, just as Ali Pali mentioned. That's 10,000 people in for alternative music.
Yeah.
And the fact that, and the bands know that they need to put on a show, they need to release the songs which allow them to do that. I mean, just another Bad Omens were there, you know, like just this rise that, yeah, it's for Motionless in White, I think they're the most unusual out of that bunch as well. And for them to be doing this, I think this album will be even more unusual, be even more unapologetic, be even more weird and wonderful, because that's what makes them tick at this point. And yeah, and just seeing Chris Motionless smile because of seeing people in front of him is, it's just really lovely.
A lovely, lovely man. One of the scene's loveliest, I gotta say. An absolute gentleman, that man. I'm glad you mentioned Bad Omens as well. Obviously, the singles have been out there. We've had the EP. Album rumors, we don't know. Noah's being very cryptic as ever, which I do like, but hopefully, I mean, that is, I think we put out a couple of social posts end of last year about to the audience, just seeing what they're excited for. It was undoubtedly just loads of people commenting the words Bad Omens. Like, people want that next record. They want to see what this band keep doing, because it's you know, they don't follow any rules, and I'm very intrigued to see where they go next with this. Obviously, massive US arena tour about to kick off as well, and they'll be back in the UK for download too. So yeah, I'm really excited to see what comes from them. A couple others I just want to throw out here that we know are sort of rumored to be coming. Evanescence, there's been new music. We would hope there's going to be a new record. I think Amy's mentioned she's been working on some stuff. Don't know when that's coming, but again, really intrigued to see the rise of that, especially after the huge success of Afterlife. Like, really nice to see them kind of take that position on a lot of the US charts as well, you know, rightfully up there at the top where they should be. Newer Day to Remember. Of course, we know the second part of their records is going to be coming at some point soon. I mean, again, what an amazing success that previous one was, especially with that release strategy, which was so interesting to put it straight into stores before you hit streaming. I love when bands are doing stuff like that. So very excited to hear that next one. Yungblud, we know there's an Idols Part 2. Again, I would quite happily say that Idols is his best record. I think it is. I think it's his most authentic record. I think it's most true to himself. And obviously, it goes without saying what a mad year that man had last year. So yeah, long may that continue. We'll see that success. President, again, we chatted with President for the awards issue end of last year. He told us album is on the way. We don't know when, but about 6 songs done, I think he told us. So again, that's another fast rising artist. I'm very intrigued to see what the first full length looks like from them. And then one that I will just say, because we say it every year, who knows? MCR5? MCR5? Go on, boys. Get it done, would you? Come on. We all want it. That's the other one. It was Bad Omens, Bad Omens, Bad Omens from the audience.
Yeah.
And the other one, obviously, everyone was saying was MCR5. Come on. Come on. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, will we ever see it? Who knows? But we all want it, obviously.
It's become one of those things now, isn't it? But I'm just like, they could straight up release anything, and people will be like, "This is the best thing ever." Like, obviously, we know that if they do release another record, it's going to be incredible. But the hype is unreal. Like, just watching people go absolutely mad when they don't even have a clue that it's happening. It's like it's just so funny to me, and I love when that kind of thing can happen. Like, I just love when you can see people going absolutely crazy over an idea, and it's so special when a band is able to do something like that, to be able to get people so hyped for something that, may well not exist. So yeah, no, I'm very excited for the potential of it. I think it's one of those that whatever they do is going to be special. Like, whatever they come back with, when they come back with it, if they come back with it, it's going to be a moment. So
I just love the fact that 2026 MCR are arguably bigger than they've ever been, which is just hilarious to me, and I love it.
I still just think as well that for everything they've done for this Long Live the Black Parade, like, you don't just dive into character arcs and creation of these things for a tour. Like, in the conspiracy theories of everything, it feels as though, I know it might not be related, but like this continuation, that band can't stay away from storytelling, no matter what. That even doing this, because even on the comeback tour, like the way that Gerard every night had a different costume, had a different thing, and people were talking about the things which he'd say in between songs, whether it meant anything, and the setup for that. And it's like, and even the merch from all of that, all the Swarm stuff, where it's like, we're 4 years on from that now, and it's like, we're still in the same position we were. It just feels like there has to be something, and it's going to be a surprise, and it's going to come out of nowhere, and it's going to ruin the internet for so many people on both sides. Because that's what this band does and continues to do. And just casually doing 3 Wembleys, with an album.
No biggie.
And again, it's just this thing that I think it's for a lot of these bands that this is the first My Chem era for a lot of people. Like, first time seeing them, first build up, not like us who have been here since 2004.
Exactly.
And knees hurt and backs ache, and they're starting to get grey in a beard. Like,
glad they've got seats at Wembley, mate. Glad they've got seats.
Oh, you're telling me, yeah. Like, but like, that's the joy that people are able to have the same joy that we had 20 years ago with this now, and the fact that doesn't come cheap and it doesn't come easy. Bands would kill to be able to have that longevity and that kind of push. But yeah, whatever it is, and there's something going on in October, something going on in LA.
Hollywood Bowl does not seem to be billed. Well, at least the last 2 nights do not seem to be billed as Long Live the Black Parade. Who knows what that is? And the used supporting is a hell of a night out, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, that was a trip. I was convinced I was being pranked when I saw that.
It's mad, isn't it? I mean, it's there. I mean, look, we'll move on because we could talk about MCR all day. At least I could. But like, I think they are the last of the really big alternative rock bands that can still take you completely by surprise at any given moment, and that's always very exciting to me. So can't wait to see whatever it is that they're up to. It's going to be very, very cool. Festival season is fast approaching, and the team at Danny Wimmer Presents have put together some incredible lineups for their first key events of the year. Welcome to Rockville kicks off May 7th at Daytona International Speedway in Florida. Guns N' Roses, Foo Fighters, Bring Me the Horizon, and My Chemical Romance right at the top of that bill, alongside a huge list of names across 5 stages and 4 days. And over in Columbus, Ohio, May 14th to the 17th, Sonic Temple Festival will take over with My Chem, Shinedown, Bring Me the Horizon, and Tool, plus the likes of Pierce the Veil, Good, Charlotte, Motionless and White, The Offspring, Megadeth, Electric Callboy, Simple Plan, and so many more. Tickets are available now. Guys, I can tell you, if you're traveling from the UK, it is more than worth the trip for these amazing mega US festivals. So get your tickets now and check out more info via DannyWimmerPresents.com. So that's a lot of the kind of music that's coming up. We do also want to shout out some kind of artists that we're excited about this year as well, some of the kind of newer artists. I want to kick things off with some that I mean, I saw South Arcade live like a couple of times last year, but particularly on their headliner tour at the end of last year. They're just on the up and up. I mean, it's crazy how slick it is. Nice to see it coming out of the UK as well. Like that's a really exciting, just really slick live act, tipping their hat to an often overlooked era of the early 2000s in terms of some of their influences. But I just love that it's coming out of the UK as well. I think they are going to have a very, very big year, that band. I can only see it rising and rising and rising. So that's what I'm particularly excited about this year. But I want to hear from you guys. Maddie, I'll come to you first here. Like, give me an artist that you are particularly excited to see grow and develop and do new things this year.
Well, we've already touched on them, but Artio.
Yeah.
They're dropping Soul Rock later this month, and I fully believe it's gonna blow people's minds. Like it's one of those albums that you can't shuffle it. It is a full-on album. Every decision they've made with it is so intentional. The track listing, the visuals, the way the story of the album moves. Like they've been making so many huge moves over the last few years, but it just feels like it feels inevitable to me that this is going to completely skyrocket them into something huge. Like I really can't wait to see what they do with the live show as well, how they kind of bring that to life because this era it's something special. Another one for me is Sweet Pill, because
Ooh,
yeah,
Good
they're
shout.
one of those bands that I think have been skirting along the edge of becoming something huge for a while, but they've got second album dropping in March. I mean, I don't know. It feels like a long time since the debut dropped, but they're one of those bands to me that perfectly bridge that gap between nostalgia and something new. Like
mhm.
both of the singles that they've released so far from this era have like hit me straight in the gut. Like it's so much of that kind of like raw emotion and energy that made me fall in love with the scene as a kid. But there's like lots of kind of growth and self-reflection that go into it, which I guess as I'm subconsciously reaching my 30s, I'm kind of leaning for that. Like I'm enjoying kind of bands talking about, just looking into yourself, learning about yourself,
Mm.
growing and all that kind of stuff. And I think it's nice to see a lot of the bands that are in that emo scene now doing that rather than, calling out people or being all kind of woe is me about it. There's a lot of, okay, things suck, but how can we make it better? How can
Mm.
I kind of work on myself? How can I become a better person? And I think that's more of the message we need. So it's nice to see bands doing that. It's nice to see bands actually kind of focusing on growth rather than just kind of knocking themselves down.
God, that's a really good point. Yeah, really, really positive message coming out of that. And I totally agree on Artio as well. I just wish there was somewhere I could buy like a transparent green vinyl with a hand signed poster or something. But
That'd be
maybe
cool, wouldn't it?
we can
Yeah.
only wish, we can only hope, we only hope as Matt the editor definitely shoves a poster right in here. Yeah, so I mean, that's a great shout on both of those. Good to see that they will. I think Sweet Pill as well are going to have a massive year. I think you're absolutely right with that one. Jack, anyone you want to shout out for this year?
Yeah, I want to shout out a couple that I've got. First one is I Promised the World.
Mm.
Rise Records, one of their latest signings. Group of kids who are bringing the sounds of 2003, 2004, 2005, coming right back into it. Like their on their latest single, you could only watch the video in 244 quality to get the full experience. But I heard from a reliable source that when they were announced last year, the song which they did it with were the only song for Rise Records which was bigger was the collaboration between Amy Lee, Poppy,
Wow, yeah,
and
yeah.
Cornelia Plant, which
Okay.
is shows where the hunger for this kind of sound is, and you know, just seeing them grow in this way, but also not lose any of where they come from. Their new their self-titled EP drops in a couple of weeks, and I feel as though it's just going to allow them to do even more opportunities and get there and harness a feeling that I think a lot of people are craving, and have been missing from, modern metal. As big as it is, I think people want what was around when they were kids, and people are getting the chance to again experience it for the first time. So I'm into them. And a band I'll talk about forever is Vianova, who
Mm.
released an album last year called Hit It. It's one of the most exciting, eclectic, bonkers pieces of heavy music I've heard in a long time, coming straight out of Berlin. It's danceable, it's weird, it's wacky, it's jazz fusion mixed in with deathcore, mixed in with soul, mixed in with just straight up incredible choruses. I
Mm.
think that they're continuing, they're making their way out of Germany a bit more and doing a few sport tours, but I think they've had a lot of buzz online in terms of a lot of virality because of just what they're providing. And I think it's a sign of what taking risks and doing things differently and not going against the grain of what people are doing, what it can, you know, what reward that can give. So I think
Mm.
they had a big end of the year. And I think that 2026 is just going to see people go, okay, I need to be in on this before it explodes even more.
Yeah, fully agree. It's really exciting to see how that one's developing for sure. Another one I want to shout out is Balu Brigada. Got to see them a couple of times last year. Obviously, they're on
Yeah,
tour over here with 21 Pilots. Perfect choice of opener, by the way. Like it just fit that vibe so well. And then a huge moment for them at Reading and Leeds. I've got to say, on one of the smaller stages there, absolutely crowd spilling out the sides of that tent. Really excited for it, knowing all the words. Just a really exciting band with just the catchiest hooks and catchiest singles going. Album Portal obviously out now, and they're going to be over here doing headline tour in a couple of months. Those rooms just, I mean, they're just getting more ridiculous for them. I just see that going on the up and up. It's that perfect kind of alt pop kind of crossover moment. Interesting seeing them always. I mean, everyone always cites the Strokes as being an influence on some of those singles, but it's approached in a really kind of different way. And like I say, I think the Pilots connection has served them very well. You can definitely see the lineage there in terms of some of the popular 21 Pilots moments kind of feeding into what they do there. And another one I want to mention as well, obviously they've been around for ages. This is not a new band by any stretch of the imagination, but we've got to talk about how Imminence are just exploding again at the minute. They've just wrapped up in December their 2025 with a headline show at London's Roundhouse, big old room, spectacular live show every single time. And I just feel like when that new music does arrive, it's going to kick them up to that next big level. Really exciting. As always, just visually look great. Obviously, the use of different instrumentation with the stringed instruments and stuff in there is always really exciting, especially when you see it performed live in those atmospheres. They look great, always helps. But it's just really interesting to see them come off the Black era and then see where they're going to go next because it kind of feels like the sky's the limit. Once you've done Roundhouse like that and you've seen a crowd that excited, I don't know. Wembley might be calling, is my opinion. Eventually, I feel I could see it
yeah.
in that band's future for sure.
It was such a special show at the Roundhouse. It was just dramatic. It was everything, and the way that they brought in so many other musicians as well. They had a full string set. They had an extra vocalist. They had a guy with a lantern walking across the stage, like making these things. Just like it was theatre, and then you just have like an hour and a half of just you couldn't take your eyes off it for a second. And I think that it deserves to be in bigger rooms and better rooms. And I think that, people weren't even pitting that much because they were just stuck in awe of what they were seeing, which is just like, how often do you get that for a metal band?
That's true.
Yeah, so
That's a seal of approval right there. That is the seal of approval for sure. Loads going on this year, basically. Loads of new music to get excited about. We'll move on to this. I didn't even have time to mention how much I love that Bruno Mars single, but anyway, there we go. Came out today. It's very good.
That's very James Wilson Taylor,
isn't it? Hey, as Pete Wentz once said, Bruno Mars makes perfect music for wedding receptions. He was right then and he's right now. Absolutely incredible tune. Love that stuff. Let's talk about the summer, really. Festival season is going to fast approach. Another amazing set of lineups. Let's begin in the UK, I guess. Slam Dunk, obviously, traditional start to our festival season over here. Big anniversary year for them, as we know. Right up top there, you got a European exclusive from Good Charlotte. Now, I mean, it's a quintessential slam dunk headliner, right? Only headline once before, of course, but like nice to have them back there. I think the European exclusive is a really, I mean, it feels like the appropriate place. If they're only going to play one place in the UK or indeed Europe, slam dunk is where they absolutely should be. Nice to see the fans get so excited as well because, Good Charlotte have been away for a minute. It feels like a while since we've had some new music from them. Obviously, the single's coming out now, and we're going to get that album eventually. But, even from a live perspective, I remember the last time I saw them play was a couple of years back. It must have been 2023 for when we were young, that first big pop punk year. But even then, it felt like, oh, this is almost a rarity seeing Good Charlotte back up on that stage playing these absolute anthems. So, I don't know, really excited to see them back in the UK. And again, for Slam Dunk, when you look at that discography and the amount of hits there, I mean, it feels like a good time, right? I feel like that is a pretty perfect choice of headliner as far as Slam Dunk goes.
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy they've only headlined once before. But I mean,
Wow, didn't it?
when you consider kind of how away from the scene they've been for a little bit, it makes sense. I mean, the first album I ever bought was Love Styles Rich the Famous, and they'll always hold a very special place in my heart, and it feels very special that they're headlining this time around. I don't know, it's one of those things where they're very much a nostalgia band for a lot of people, but they are keeping it fresh. They are doing great new music. Like their new stuff is really fun. It's really different, and they've not forgot what they're all about. And I just love that. I mean, when we look down the lineup as well, like we got Taking Back Sunday, like any kind of Louder Now celebration, any part of that album getting its flowers is always going to be great because it's full of bangers. Like Dashboard, Motion City. Like there's so we can literally just list every single band on that lineup and be like that rules because there's just so much going on. Like we got President, the home team. I'm so excited to see the home team
Mm,
smash it there
so
because
good live. So good live as
so
well.
good live. So yeah, there's loads of stuff. Like Tonight Alive again, like something about Tonight Alive at Slam Dunk will always feel special. So yeah, no, I'm very excited to see what they do with the rest of the lineup because it's already pretty 10 out of 10 for me.
And how nice to see right up to like the kind of levels of headline. It's testament to how much that festival has grown, right? I mean, congrats to the whole team. It's really amazing to see the level they've hit because yes, Good Charlotte up top makes perfect sense. To have, one of the most buzzed about bands in heavy music, Not Loose up there as an exclusive as
Mhm.
well. It's just so cool. And again, what a wonderful fit. And again, what a wonderful way to show how Slam Dunk has grown, where it's not just a straight up pop punk festival anymore. It kind of encompasses a lot more of alternative music. And then, of course, I mean, unbelievably, it's going to be Sublime's first ever UK
That
performances.
is insane.
Isn't that mad?
Yeah.
Like back in the original days of Sublime, they never made it to the UK. I think Sublime with Rome, when that project was happening, they may have played over the UK, but
Yeah.
Sublime as Sublime, it's never happened. And again, what's been amazing about their comeback and seeing that happen, it's hit this whole new generation, and recent singles have just been, again, in America, dominating US alternative radio and seeing them have some of the biggest success of their career. And when you think about the things they've overcome and obviously those lineup changes, what an amazing place to be. So yeah, I'm so excited to be there for their debut UK shows. It's so wild to say that, but what a kind of special moment I think that's going to be, really.
Well, it's when you look at their performance at Coachella, it was the perfect atmosphere because it was nice and sunny. Like you're in the desert, you're all these things that their music, especially when it's the atmosphere that is, just serves that. I think the reason they never really made it over is because you can't be sure that that atmosphere is ever going to happen.
Mm.
That like
Yep.
well, and especially in festivals, it's like what if it's raining? Like you're hearing these songs which are just made for the beach, and then we're just in a muddy field in Hatfield. That is like,
That's a vibe in itself, though. There's a
oh yeah, it
vibe
is.
there.
But I think yeah, it just shows that you should you know never give up on seeing your favorite bands on the other side of the world because it'll get there eventually. It'll happen.
Very true. No, that's one of the sets I'm most excited for that weekend, I think for sure. And then we've got, of course, look to the other big one in the UK festival calendar for us, which is of course Download. We were all there at that launch party in November. I think everyone left very satisfied when that lineup was announced. An
Oh
incredible
yeah.
set of headliners. Again, all UK exclusives there, but all perfect names, really. Been a long time, understandably, since Linkin Park were there. I think the last time they were there was when they did a Hybrid Theory in full. I believe this will be their fifth time headlining. I think it will match them as the band that's headlined the most times. I think there's a couple that have done it about five times. I think maybe Slipknot as well. They'll kind of equal that record this time, which is very exciting. Guns N' Roses, I mean, definitive, not just download band, but Donington band. Makes all the sense in the world. And then, we all remember how absolutely insane it was last time Limp Bizkit played, and they were second from the top on the Sunday that last time. Biggest crowd of the weekend, then, arguably. Only going to get bigger this time, I would imagine. But again, what a lovely moment for Download to have that mix of headliners, and it just I don't know, it just makes perfect sense when I saw that lineup come out. I was like, yep, that is exactly what Download should be doing in 2026 to me.
I mean, yeah, headliners incredible. Like I think we've got such a good mix there of, classics. I mean, it's crazy that Limp Bizkit have not headlined before, but
Mm.
it feels like the moment for them. I mean, anyone who was in that field in 2024, you could tell they were so ready for it. Like obviously the crowd was ready for it, but just seeing the guys upstage, like they were having so much fun and they were like really just taking in every second of it. And I can't wait to see them do that again because I think they're one of those bands that are just so grateful for everything. Obviously, they've ticked off so many bucket list things. They've done things that most bands can never dream of doing, but it feels like they're still very grateful for everything they get to do now. And I think, yeah, for a band this far into it to still really be hungry for it, to still want to do bigger stages, to still want to tick things off is really special. And to be able to see them in real time, just appreciating that is really special. And I mean, I think something else we have to talk about, and I know Jack's gonna love talking about this one, Scooter.
Are you ready?
Silly.
Yeah.
Like that's obviously there's a novelty to it. It's funny. It's similar to the Venga Boys thing last year, but I think people are going to be surprised by how much of an incredible show that's going to be. Like people are going to kind of go into it expecting something, super kind of corny. And yeah, it will be a little bit, but like it's going to be good. Like it's going to
Oh,
blow people's minds.
oh, yeah. Like
Yeah.
if you see me light up, I could talk about Scooter for like more than I talk about deathcore. I saw Scooter at Brixton Academy in 2018, and it still gives me shivers now thinking about it. The lights, the vibe, the songs that they have, and just the way that it is performed. It's impossible not to get roped up into it, and people will go for like just there is the cheap. To me, it's not that cheesy because it's like I think it's only cheesy in the UK because we don't really have you know hardcore and EDM of that sort there, and especially for rock fans, they're just like, what's this? But like, and just watching it and just how loud and engrossing it is, it will fit in so nicely just with because again, a lot of metal is silly, and like people forget is that like the, just the vibe of that will fit in so well compared to the Venga Boys. Venga Boys was a bit of fun for late night. Like I think this is being done as like a proper, it's on the Avalanche stage, like which isn't going to be big enough either. It should be main stage, like just as the sun's going down, in between Trivium and Blood Incantation. So people don't have to move. like, but yeah, I think what just want to bring up another point that it's like that. Um, I think what Download have done really well, and it's what they've extended, is just how good that undercard is in terms of a representation of the scene as it is now. You have, you have your Ice Like Hills in there. You've got Sleep Theory in there. You've got, so many bands which are doing amazing things and showing what this scene is about. Which in the past you could possibly feel as though, you're having to fill gaps because it's like, well, what's going on now? What bands are around? It feels like with the way that Download has adapted, because festival season's busy, there's people in all other places that for them to get as many pulls as they can with this lineup, and it'd be like, well, there's going to be clashes. Every stage is going to be busy all the time. There's going to be people having the best weekend of their life because of just how many people they've managed to secure. It just feels like such a perfect representation of what's going on now. And that's what the biggest festival in the UK should be, you know?
Fully agree. Fully agree. I tell you what, if we're going to have one sort of poppier act every year, then download Cam and all that lot. If you're watching 2027, I'd like Pitbull, please and thank you. Let's get that involved. I
Anna
think it'd be
Montana.
absolutely hysterical. It'd be amazing fun. Right, American festivals I want to mention as well because there's a few that have been announced so far. The Danny Wimmer Presents crew. It's always unbelievable. You see these posters come out, and it's just everybody you could possibly imagine, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. The two that are going to kick off the year for them are Welcome to Rockville and Sonic Temple. Let me just rattle through some names because this is just ridiculous. Welcome to Rockville, Guns N' Roses, Foo Fighters, Bring Me the Horizon, My Chem are the headliners. And then, like, I mean, you've got a day to remember headlining the second stage alongside like Turnstile and stuff. I mean, it's a massive lineup when you go all the way down to stage number 5, and in the middle of it is Biffy Clyro. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Sonic Temple, similarly, My Chem again, but you've got Shinedown, Bring Me, Tool, Good Charlotte, Pierce the Veil, The Offspring, Megadeth, of course, on their kind of final ever run at the minute, Electric Callboy, Simple. But I mean, the list goes on and on and on. It's every band in the alternative space you've heard of, and it's what America does so well with these kind of mega fests. Really, is like it just becomes such a massive destination. It's why I think you get so many people from the UK going out for them, actually. It feels almost like a holiday, right? You go to these big destination festivals and you are going to, across 4 days, see probably every single band you currently love in the scene that you love. They do it so well. It's so well put together, so slick. I'm really, really excited for that. And of course, they've got more coming later in the year with the likes of Aftershock and stuff, which will be much later on, not announced yet. But again, I'm sure will be another absolutely ridiculous lineup when it comes. And then other kind of US ones that, of course, Warped's going to be back slightly bigger again this year. They're going back to DC, to Long Beach, and to Orlando, but also expanding into Montreal and Mexico City. I was very lucky to be there in November in Orlando. It's a whole new Warped Tour, man. It's not like back in the day that they have gone nuts. And again, absolutely fair play to the team. They've really delivered on an incredibly slick event that just feels bigger and better and just really, really quite special. And but still with those kind of key elements like, the merch tents or whatever it is, those things you remember from back in the day that are still present and correct, which is great. Obviously no acts announced for that yet. I imagine they'll start rolling them out in the way they did last year, where they sort of steadily start coming out. But I mean, that's one where I think we can have a think of who we'd like to see for sure. I think Pierce the Veil for me would be an obvious choice of headliner out there. I mean, spectacular tour last year. I love that band anyway, but they are just on one at the minute. They are on an absolute incredible run of form. And yeah, they weren't there at Warped this time round. I think if you're going to think about closing acts of that level, you'd be hard pressed to beat something like that for sure. Similarly, if they wanted to go even bigger, I mean, Blink did the big anniversary shows when it was around last time at Warped. Again, I could very easily see them being kind of one of the central figures. If you're going to get to the end of the night, you want to put someone like that on there. Again, the Offspring, a kind of legendary slot there for sure. But yeah, Warped Tour wise, who you guys think, is there anyone out there you would love to see kind of either return or any kind of newer acts you'd like to see kind of kick up on those main Warped Tour stages again?
I think Pierce the Veil, with it moving to Mexico City, it feels so right. But apart from that, I would really like to see 5 Seconds of Summer, because I think we spent far too long as a scene trying to deny the fact that they belong here. They're a Warped Tour band. Like, let's just stop being weird about it. Like, I don't get why we've spent like a solid decade and a half being like, you know what, they're a boy band. We can't have boy bands. Every band you like with boys in it is a boy band, if we want to put it that way.
Yes,
like, come on. Like, I would just love to see them play something like Warped, because I know it would mean so much to them. Like, they are pop punk kids through and through. And I think it would just be so nice for them to get that moment of just saying, like, you know what, we are a Warped Tour band, because they always have been. So yeah, that would be one that I'd really like to see. I think like so many people would absolutely love it as well, especially when they drop some of those early bangers.
It's nice when they lean into that as well, because again, they were that second year of When We Were Young, when it was the Green Day Blink co-headliner, like the big kind of pop punk day, went down an absolute storm, because these kids love them. Like, I get it. It's I think the days of it being a raised eyebrow. It's like, oh, is this a real kind of pop? No, no. When they want to be, they absolutely are. They're so much more than that, but they absolutely can lean into that side of what they do. And speaking to that, we should mention When We Were Young, because obviously we were all out there last year and had an absolute blast in Vegas. Not announced yet. Still says on the website, 2026 lineup to come. I really hope it's going to be back, and it's such a really special festival. It's easily become one of my favorites over the last few years. There's just something about the vibe out there, something about the way it fits into Vegas and everything as well. I just think it's a really, really special event. Obviously, they've kind of had all the big original emo acts you would want to headline up there, but I'd take Fall Out Boy coming back in a heartbeat. And I've long said as well, if they're going to move into maybe slightly different eras, I think the one act that hasn't played When We Were Young yet that would still fit, even though it's slightly out of that era, you got to throw a 21 Pilots in there, man. You've got to do it. And I think if it was a full album play, especially, obviously the internet would explode for a start. But I think either way, we know what a spectacular live act they are. We know what a dedicated live audience they have, and they will. I remember when Blurryface was really kicking off, people started talking about how it was now a wholly emo quartet rather than a trilogy. Like people trying to throw Pilots in there as well because the lineage is there, right? I think they're very much carried on that kind of lineage. So I'm hoping that's back. But by the same token, the organizers, of course, are the same people in charge of Sick New World, which is going even bigger and better in 2026 now with the event in Vegas, but also heading out to Texas in October. Against System of a Down, back at the top of that lineup is always a nice thing to see. That is the house band of that festival, and rightly so. But then to have the likes of Korn and Deftones and Bring Me and Evanescence and stuff in there, I love these festivals that are so genre specific and just build out the ultimate lineup, if you like one particular type of music and do it in one day. That just it always really appeals to me, those big one mega day festivals. I mean, Maddie and Jack, that was both your first times out of When We Were Young last year, right? I mean, I know you obviously had a blast, but it's got to be kind of interesting to adjust to that idea of like, oh no, this is a one day on like the most epic scale you could possibly have.
It's so much of it. Sorry, Maddie, is that it feels so one-off. It's not just the one day. It's like the whole thing feels one-off. It feels like bands know that they can do whatever they want with it as well, which is, why Panic, came back in the way that they did and just did an album and then played for another 45 minutes of like probably the best second set of songs I've heard a band do in a long time. Like just
hit after hit after hit. Yeah. Unbelievable.
And then disappear again. Go off and do whatever. Blink played songs off Neighborhoods, and like they played Eminem's and they played Josie and all these like old things, which again, for at this place where it's like this mix of people and mix of times, that like bands, like anyone who goes to these things is like, well, this is unique. There's nothing else like this. Like even in other festivals, that's what I got from the whole thing. That I was like, I've never been at anything which feels like this. I've never seen so many bands in a row doing what they want. Be it an album, be it a set of hidden gems, be it just like playing all the bangers. And that's what when you're bringing up names like Pilots and Fall Out Boy, like Fall Out Boy doing the Days of Fall Out Boy past download, it's like, well, you can do stuff like that. Just play whatever you want. Pilots saying, well, you don't have to do a Blurryface tour or a Trench tour, or like you can just go to Vegas, be a bit away from the strip, and just do something for people who have made that trip with you. Yeah, and I think that's a really special thing to be a part of. And yeah, doing both days, it was just like it took me until about 7 p.m. on our second day there for me to really get the bearings of like, oh, this is unlike anything else. Like as the sun's going down and I'm watching Set Your Goals into Chodus, into Ice Nine Kills, into Motionless in White, into Blink. Like it's chaos. It's dreamland. It's the best. And yeah,
it is like there's a theme park element to it. That's the closest I can describe it. It really does feel like that. It's no, it's very special. I really hope it's back and bigger than ever this year. We'll just wait on news on that one. But similarly, like I say, other US ones like Sick New World, obviously, but also Warped is very much hitting that same territory for me. And long may it continue. It's really exciting. And one just quick thing I will mention on this as well: 21 Pilots, of course. All Points East. What a phenomenal choice that is to headline a one-dayer in London, in the UK, as territory that's always supported that band. And just even the little teasers we see on the poster and everything, it feels like they are going to make that entire site feel like you are entering the world of Trench, which is just exactly as it should be. And it feels like the moment where the ambition they've always had with these shows can be really fulfilled on an even bigger scale. Great supporting lineup as well. So yeah, that's just another one in the UK I wanted to shout out because I'm very excited to do that.
You can get this, and all of your other My Chemical Romance merch at shop.rocksound.tv.
Before we start to wrap up, One other thing I want to kind of look forward to here in 2026 is kind of key anniversaries or any kind of reunions we want to see as well, because we can't quite predict these yet, but we know obviously there's a lot of key albums that are hitting very key anniversaries. So maybe we'll get to see something special from those. And also any bands we just kind of think we want to come back this year. I'll kick off here because there's two I want to mention in particular. The first, Ollie Sykes mentioned on social media the other day, he definitely gave a little wink and a shout out to the fact that it's going to be 20 years of Count Your Blessings, right? Now, key moment for them. Obviously, the fans always love when they just roll out some of the old school, really heavy bangers in that way. Maybe it's a reissue. Would be, I mean, they just did the That's the Spirit reissue, so it would make sense to do something like that. Even if it's a case of when they get back to live shows, just doing like a medley or something like they've done on occasion, I'd be into that. Like just having a few more of those drops in the set as a little nod to it would be interesting. Obviously, it becomes something bigger than that. We're all going to be delighted at that point as well. But I'm just intrigued to see what they do with it. But it's nice that a band like that have reached this point in their career where they're not afraid to nod to the past. They've made their point. They could absolutely do any kind of rock or alternative style they want to at this point. Those last few records have been so varied and so interesting. Is what makes their live show so spectacular, I think, as well. But they're clearly more than comfortable with the fact that, oh yeah, 20 years since that, oh yeah, we can nod to it and it still feels relevant and still feels like it's not going to take anything away from what they want to do next too. So I don't know. That's one I'm very, very excited about in terms of the kind of anniversary stuff. And one reunion I wanted to shout out as well. It's been rumored for a while. They've mentioned it in interviews. It's again one that every year at When We Were Young in particular, I've gone, why aren't they here yet? Come on, Sugar Cult. Let's see you. Let's see you out there. Come on, guys. I want to see it. We're hitting anniversaries around the album too. It feels like something like When We Were Young or Warped would be the perfect platform for them. And then they should absolutely come and do Slam Dunk after that as well. But again, it's one where you forget how big that band were at the time. Those were monster hits off those records. So again, I've heard them talk a little bit in interviews about when they hit anniversaries, maybe something might happen. Maybe they'd roll out and do a show again for the first time in a long time. I never got to see them properly the first time around. I saw them do a couple of support slots, but I never saw them do a headliner back in the day. So yeah, that is one that if we're talking about the festival lineups and all those kind of things as well, feels like an obvious choice to me where again that sort of audience would go absolutely nuts for it. So yeah, that's a couple of things I'm hyped for. Maddie, I'll come to you now. Any kind of reunions you'd love to see or any kind of key anniversaries you'd like to see acknowledged this year?
I mean, aside from the Hannah Montana and High School Musical 20th anniversary,
Straight in, never dropping it, never dropping it. All right, fair enough.
For real, I'm very excited about We Don't Need to Whisper by Angels and Airwaves turning 20. And
nice.
December Underground is also turning 20. So they're the two that I'm very excited and hoping we get some kind of acknowledgement of. And in terms of reunions, I've banged on about this in our group chat a bit, but I'm hoping we get more from First to Last with Kellen Quinn because he was meant to be fronting them at Furnace Fest last year, had to cancel. But we still got the new track with Kellen on it. It's huge. But yeah, I presume there is more happening there. I presume there is more kind of in the works. So yeah, very excited to see how that turns out because From First to Last are one of those bands that I believe are a total emo legacy band. And I think too many people have forgotten about them. And there's a whole generation now who probably haven't even heard the classics that they put out. So yeah, I would love to see that band get some more love this year.
Yeah, very, very true. Jack, how about yourself? Anything you want to shout out and see maybe surprises this year?
Just want to say that's an unbelievable trio of shouts from Maddie L there, like outrageous. Well, I think I just want on the point of Angels and Airwaves. I saw someone made a mock-up of a tour which looked like it was just 44 in Angels and Airwaves going out on the road together.
Was it like transplant supporting as well?
Yeah, with Boxcar Race doing whatever, and it's like,
that's naughty. That's naughty. You can't get the audience hyped up that much. That's naughty making something like that.
But I think a big one, and it helps that they're headlining Bloodstock this year. Lamb of God's Sacrament is 20 years old, which, it's an anniversary show for Bloodstock. And if they were able to, because that's a band which just has chopped and changed their way, but like, if there's a chance that they go, come on, we'll do it in full, come out to Walk With Me in Hell, like, have an absolute laugh with that. A special festival which also has Judas Priest at the top, which that's going to be another good weekend.
Yeah, it's a night out, isn't it?
But the reunion I hope for, and I think it's always whispers, and it's always there, is the OG Gallows lineup.
Ah, yes.
There's always something there. And obviously Frank's been busy with Sex Pistols, which has been an incredible opportunity. And seeing that show as well, that's a party as well. He was born to play that role and play those songs. And also I think off the back of Rattlesnakes, I think Frank's relationship with Gallows is still a bit strange, but also when Wade was fronting Gallows, it was an incredible experience as well. But the idea of now we've got Orchestra of Wolves Anniversaries around, Great Britain is coming up soon, these seminal UK punk albums, to have that at something like 2000 Trees, or just not even at all, just something like a reminder, bringing into the Monday something which has had a big ripple effect in the UK. I think it would be incredible. The last time I saw Gallows, I high kicked to Orchestra of Wolves so high that I ripped my trousers at Slam Dunk, and then had to waddle like a penguin for the rest of the day. And I still believe that I haven't high kicked since, but I'm glad that was the way that I've gone out on it. So it's that's the sort of thing that band brings out something in me. And I think it brings something out in a lot of people in the UK. And I think to be able to return to that again and have that energy would be a really cool thing. But we never know. They're all busy boys doing different things.
This is it. All very gainfully employed, but you never know. We could see it at some point. You never know. Two more I'll just briefly mention before we wrap up here. I do want to shout out the fact that, we did a couple of social posts recently about albums turning 10 as well this year, which is always kind of interesting level of anniversary, but what a key year 2016 was in a lot of ways. Death of a Bachelor for a start, a massive record there. But I want to mention 1975 briefly. Got to see him at Glastonbury, of course, last year. Absolutely phenomenal as ever. But I Like It When You Sleep was turning 10. I went nuts for that album when it first came out. I think I saw them 5 or 6 times in London around those tour dates. Just absolutely devoured that record. And again, when it was self-titled, turning 10, they just treated it very, very well. I think they just did a couple of one-offs. They did the show for War Child at Gorilla in Manchester, tiny little room. And then when Lewis Capaldi pulled out of Reading and Leeds, they stepped in there and did it there, which is really, really cool. So some kind of little nod to that record I would like to see. I could see them doing it in some perspective, even if it's just a little tiny show like that. That's obviously a very key moment for that band. So it'd be nice to see that acknowledged in some way. But then the other one, it's already been announced. It's already happening. And for me, I think it's maybe the tour of the year. Boys Like Girls, heading out across the States, doing both those first 2 albums in full. It's obviously 20 years of the self-titled record in particular, but then they're bringing it to the UK. First UK shows in a minute, first UK headliners in a minute anyway. Brixton Academy, and they're heading up to Glasgow, Manchester, Birmingham. They are easily, for me, one of the slickest live acts in the entire world. I would encourage anyone watching this or listening to this who hasn't checked out their live album they dropped last year, please do go give it a listen. They are relentless. It is just hit after. I think when I interviewed Martin last when we were young, he was saying, sometimes you just got to get up and not talk for 40 minutes. Just do hit, and then you go, hey, how's it going, everybody? Give the people what they want. And the transitions between each track are so slickly done. They are so relentlessly fun, and I would argue the best live they have ever been right now. So to then see them reapproach these 2 records, man, that's going to be a night out. What supporting lineup as well? The Arrows in Action and IDK How out in the States, then As It Is the lead opener over here. That's a night out right there. So that's easily the tour I'm most excited for when that one kicks around. But yeah, loads to get excited about. And hopefully more. There's going to be a lot of surprises, as I'm sure we are aware, but we're back at it as ever. Before we wrap up, I do just want to briefly mention, of course, we put out on social media recently a little teaser. We just did our first cover shoot of the year. It's for the all British group cover that's going to be coming in August. We did our first one last year, which we absolutely loved. Very excited to drop that one in a few months. But way ahead of that, couple of weeks time now from the time of recording, right at the end of January, first quarterly issue of the year. You guys know who's on the cover. I know who's on the cover. It's very, very exciting. I can't wait to get that one out there to you guys. So yeah, loads of exciting stuff from Rock Sound coming this year as well, so keep your eyes peeled. That's about it for this week's episode of the Rundown Podcast. Thank you so much as ever to Jack and Maddie. Please do get involved in the comments. Let us know what you guys are excited about for 2026. So much planned. It's going to be really, really cool to see what happens over the next 12 months. And we'll be back soon with a very brand new episode, so make sure you subscribe, particularly over on the YouTube channel, to keep yourselves up to date. In the meantime, I've been James Wilson Taylor. We will see you very soon.